how do you guys want to do the intro? Are we just gonna do like a impromptu intro again, like we always do, where we're never on the same page? Or are we gonna be on the same page this time?
You can just improv it.
Hey, fuck, that's really bad. Okay, hey, my name is Robert.
Dude, you gotta leave that in.
I have to now. Yeah, you're right.
We're rolling. Right. My name is Nathan.
My name is Joseph.
And we are Mom Said No
Mom Said No.
Productions.
So no productions.
Well, one day we're gonna get it right.
Said no.
Swear to God, one day we're gonna get it right. Today, we're gonna be talking about Spider-Man. What is your favorite Spider-Man comic? Don't think about it too hard. And why is it Spider-Man Blue? That's not my answer, by the way, but I feel like that's just the general like consensus.
Low key, it was gonna be mine.
Really?
Yeah.
You're entitled to your opinion, but you have the floor.
I think it's either Spider-Man Blue or I think it's like 2 or 3 issues that the story takes place over. I will say the death of Gwen Stacy, because I mean both handle kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, but I think Spider-Man Blue does a really good job of showing like, like this was a person in his life. This is somebody who's important to him, like who it continues to be important. Like it celebrates the history as opposed to try to like move on from it, which I really appreciate. And dude, the death of Gwen Stacy comic it's just fire. It's just a really good old Spider-Man comic. Like I think it shows a lot about Peter and him, maybe like his struggles, because like he like runs into Harry, who's like going through like horrible withdrawals. And Harry's like, "Hey, please don't leave me. Like, I need somebody here right now." And Peter's basically like, "Fuck you. Like, get out. I don't care."
I
like
think
Gwen a
that
lot?
you just I just think you like Gwen Stacy a lot. You know, I feel like this is
Hey.
kind of biased.
Hey, I while
You
it's
have-
true,
Yeah, you have
I
no
think-
words because I'm true.
I think that the death comics I think do a really good job of being like not only grounding Spider-Man, but also like putting him in a situation that I don't think we see him in a lot, and I think it's good that we don't see him in a lot because I think it would kind of like numb it. And I think Spider-Man Blue is a really interesting perspective of that same situation.
Okay.
And why do you like Gwen Stacy so much in the first place too? Like specifically Gwen Stacy in this era, and not like how people usually know her now as like Spider-Gwen.
I think part of it definitely started. Maybe I'm jumping the gun. MJ in the Raimi movies ruined the character for me.
Dude, that's a really bad reasoning, I think, because that's not like.
Well, I'm just saying that's how it started.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was like, okay, well, this is the default. But then, like, I think she kind of just haunts the narrative. Like people, you hear, especially with like other like Batman, you hear a lot where people are like, hey, Jason Todd used to kind of be this like looming like, I'm like, I'm not threat, but like presence, right? Like it was always he was the example of here's why you need to be so careful. Here's why you need to be so like heroic. Like here's why you need to be mindful of everything you do and say and where you are. And like I think Gwen Stacy kind of served that same purpose of like she added that like, but what if I fail? And here's what happens if I fail. And it's not even just like a could be, it is a this has happened before, and if I'm not careful, it'll happen again. And I think that's really interesting.
Okay. You like the cautionary tale aspect of it.
Yeah, and I think by making her Spider-Gwen, I think Spider-Gwen's cool. I think by making her younger though, and I think in the comics she had a brief thing with Miles Morales, it's just like
look.
It just doesn't feel like Gwen anymore.
I think that Spider-Gwen has been overdone recently. I think Spider-Gwen was okay when it was just like a one-off in the Spider-Verse comic, but like now she's everywhere. Yeah. She has like 5 ongoings, but like she had like 5 other series. She's in the Spider-Verse movies. She's in like literally any new Spider-Man cartoon that comes out, she's part of it. When it's like not really supposed to be the main universe Gwen as Spider-Gwen, you know, I don't really like that aspect, but I feel like Spider-Gwen is just kind of being shoved down our throats. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just, I preferred it when it was just a one-off, like a what if, because I mean, that's originally what she was. It was like a what if alternate universe.
Yeah, I like the alternate universe aspect, and I agree. I think where I just have trouble where it's like, she's like, oh, she's in the main universe now. I'm like, but why?
Because it just makes things easier. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's literally for just homogeny, and it just makes things easier for the writer to not have to worry about like different stuff. Like that's exactly why Miles Morales is in the new universe. I'm pretty sure because
I would almost think that it makes it harder. Because then it's like now you have to be like, okay, but like how do you keep track of everything? And like, okay, how are people going to react to seeing her? Like they kind of touched on it, I think, in the first Spider-Verse event, that it's like when Peter first sees, he's like, oh my god, like what the fuck? And when it's an alternate universe, you can do whatever you want to some extent, I think, right? You can be like, hey, yeah, you know what? I really want her to meet like this version of the Punisher. But you don't have to worry about any previous Punisher knowledge. You can be like, this is the Punisher I'm putting in. I think you get a little bit, potentially, I want to be very careful about, potentially you can get a little bit of freedom like that. I feel like it would make it harder to put her in mainline.
I think it's just for homogeny. Like genuinely, like I think it's just like the status quo of like everyone's here, everyone's cool. You know, we get to see these characters interact with our main universe stuff, and we don't have to launch a whole new line that's separate from this universe that we quote unquote have to keep track of. I think that's what it is, honestly.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
You're saying you think it'd get too convoluted if it was like its own thing?
You know, the more I think about it, I don't know if it'd be too convoluted. I think they're just like, we don't want to have multiple different Earths, because it's kind of like what happened in the 90s with DC, right? Where if they just keep stacking on so many alternate versions of these characters, alternate universes, like it gets a little confusing. Like with the whole Power Girl and then the Supergirl thing, right? And then how Power Girl is on the regular Earth and stuff like that. It's like, if you didn't know, you wouldn't know at all. So I think them bringing her over, like, and just like explaining in a quick blurb, like, kind of is their patchwork solution to that issue that was in the 90s. Also, they probably just could have wrote it better, but you know, throwing it out there.
Fair. Okay, well, what's your guys' top Spider-Man story?
Nate, go ahead.
Oh, okay. First of all, would I be cheating if I said superior foes of Spider-Man?
No,
too.
I don't think so.
Okay, then that's technically is my favorite like Spider-Man, I guess, like adjacent story.
Yeah.
To say a quick answer, my favorite one, if it's just Spider-Man, is like this short comic called Short Halloween. Written by Bill Hader and
no
Seth Meyers.
Fucking way. No way. No way. You don't understand. Before we started recording, I was fucking around with Joseph, and Joseph's like, yeah, dude, my favorite Spider-Man comic is Spider-Man Last Halloween. And we just kept flipping
Long
Batman.
Halloween.
Oh my god, yeah, the Long Halloween. And we just kept flipping Batman titles. But you're telling me there's an actual book that has a similar title?
Short Halloween. It's like a parody of that title. Too.
God damn it, dude.
That's incredible.
It's not even a direct parody, too. It's just someone finds a Spider-Man costume or something and then has fun in it, essentially. I only love that comic because I'm attached to like Bill Hader that way, too. I find it very fun. Yeah, no, my true answer is Superior Foes of Spider-Man, though. I think it's a very well-rounded like comic from beginning, middle to end, too. It feels like I'm watching like one fun like superhero comedy movie. And I love how like contained it is too, which is why like I'm low-key excited to see if Boomerang is in the next film, if he is in the next film. And I was tempted to even read the Spider-Man run too.
He was like Spider-Man's roommate for a while, right?
Yeah, with the Nick Spencer run, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I vaguely remember that.
My favorite Spider-Man story is one single issue. It is an issue that was written by Tom Taylor. It's the issue of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man where he's helping out, or not helping out, but he's like, how do I explain this without like sounding weird, without Spider-Man sounding weird? He's playing pretend with a kid who has like a disease, probably cancer.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
Oh,
yeah.
I think I know a certain movie that was inspired off of that, I think.
Oh,
you guys heard it here first. Rob's favorite Spider-Man story is Spider-Man.
No, dude, I'm cutting that out. I'm cutting that out right now, dude.
Go cut it.
Anyways, I think that story is really cool because it starts out and it's like, oh, there's a small Spider-Man sidekick to Spider-Man and they're like fighting villains, but then like the world slowly like comes to realization, and the reader comes to the realization that it's literally just a kid hanging out with Spider-Man in his hospital room, like making up these scenarios. Like they fight the Sinister 66 or whatever, and it's just like the doctors and the staff and the parents of the kid like pretending to be villains. And it's just a really nice, heartwarming Spider-Man story. Do I know what happens to the kid? Not really. But I my favorite moment, which is the emotional crux of the issue, is when he's playing make believe with Spider-Man, and then he starts coughing, and then everyone's like, "Oh, like maybe you should take a rest because like you're not doing too hot," and he's like, "Nah," and he like kind of throws a little tantrum, and then Spider-Man talks to the parents, and he's like, "Oh, like I'm sorry, dude. Like I didn't know it'd be like this." His parents basically tell him, he's like, "Oh, the reason why he's like so adamant about staying up is because he thinks that if he falls asleep, he won't wake up again." And then Spider-Man just like, you could tell what expression he has even under the mask. And then he just like takes him out for a swing, and then he just shows him like a once in a lifetime experience. And I think that to me encompasses the core of Spider-Man. It is just a really nice issue, man. I really like it.
Go pick up the issue at your LCS.
I have the trade. It's not like I don't have the trade. It's behind me. So
you just prefer to read it on TikTok.
It is in a trade, but it's also a single issue. I just got the trade because it's the whole Tom Taylor run that he did.
What's the specific issue for those who want to read it now on our our sponsor for today, Marvel Comics Unlimited?
Yeah, I'm 90% sure it's Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man number 6. Yeah,
checking League of Comic Geeks too.
It is. It is Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man number 6, Legacy issue 30 by Tom Taylor. And this is it, man. This is the Spider-Man issue that I really like.
Do you here's a question for all of you though, like related to this as well. Do you think, since like a lot of like stories get adapted, do you think both of your favorites, specifically Robert's, would work in live action? With an asterisk too. I mean, like in a vacuum, right? Like concept alone.
In a concept, I genuinely think it could be a story beat in a Spider-Man movie. Like if A Brand New Day, the movie, was out and about, or is still in the writing stages, and like they had no idea where to fill an emotional beat, like this could easily be thrown in there. Could not work alone though as like a short. Yeah.
Fair.
It would. I think like you said too, like small moments like that, like define Spider-Man's character, would definitely like add more texture to whatever Spider-Man story it is in general.
100%.
Yeah.
What about you, Joseph?
I think if my two were combined, I could see it maybe like episodic, like just Spider-Man Blue, but then like in his review of what happened, you see the issue where she died. Like I don't think it would be as cinematic. Like if none of us said it, but like Kraven's Last Hunt, like I feel like that's a very obvious, like that could be a movie, like super straightforward, like Spider-Man film, right? Superior Spider-Man, same thing, right? Very, in my opinion, a plot that easily translates. Like you could kind of just be like, cool, it's this, and then get to work. Like I feel like with Spider-Man Blue, you would have to get a little bit creative to make it interesting to watch. Just because I think it's as much a Peter Parker story as it is a Spider-Man story.
Or even like be a little risky with it and just keep it a Peter Parker story too, and save Spider-Man for the end.
Like like
as someone who's read that, I can see a choice.
Like fan favorite Spider-Man project, Spider-Man Promises? Question mark?
Yeah. I don't. You're not allowed to talk to that. You signed an NDA. Cut that out.
Right. Yeah. My bad.
Every time Rob brings it up, we just have to be like, he also called Spider-Man really brave.
Whoa! Anyways, going back to it, I think split the difference. I feel like you did bring it up. I just have Alzheimer's sometimes. Joseph, I do think that this Spider-Man Blue concept could work in like a 12 episode series as like a random flashback episode, literally titled Blue. I think that would be a really nice touch. You could probably throw, like, imagine the MTV animated Spider-Man series. Like, just imagine it didn't have ties to the Raimiverse. Like, you could easily throw that in. Or like even Spectacular Spider-Man, I think. Yeah. Like, it definitely works as a flashback, which is a flashback. I mean, obviously, but yeah.
If we're picking a Spider-Man adaptation for it to go with, I think it would go with the Andrew Garfield one.
Oh, because it actually
happened. However.
Well, no, it didn't actually happen, but a version of it. Well, it's the only live action Gwen Stacy death. I think, if you're not counting fan films, because there's that one fan film I always see that gets brought up on my TikTok feed, and it's like, do you know which one I'm talking about? Like the super like crazy
Yeah.
early 2000s one where like this actor
It's
just
the
went
one who has a
so
ripped up
hard.
mask, right?
Yeah, dude,
Oh,
it
yeah,
looks
yeah.
really terrifying, bro. Like it looks really cool.
No, yeah, and he's like, yeah, I know these, yeah.
Okay, so going off of what I just said, what do you guys like about Spider-Man? Because I mean, I think from the story I picked, it kind of sums up what I like about Spider-Man.
Fair. Nate, do you want to go first?
Yeah. What I like about Spider-Man personally is like a bit basic, but like that's why he's so popular. Because I like how there's a strong emphasis on the actual like he's just a kid trying to go through high school, he has a struggling job. I feel like there's a lot of focus Spider-Man even from like his origin to on like the fact that he's a actual person with responsibilities that needs to balance these responsibilities as like a superhero too. So if anything, what I find the most interesting about Spider-Man is that kind of balance and the strong emphasis on the fact that he's just a regular kid, which is why like I like the Spider-Man films. I like we'll touch upon later as well. And I think he's just a very iconic character in general too, and usually in very or he has a good amount of well written stories, not usual is how I'd phrase it.
Yeah. I mean, like anybody can look at a picture of any Spider-Man and be like, yeah, that's Spider-Man. You know, he's instantly recognizable in the modern age.
Yeah. I think for me, it's just his sense of responsibility. There's a lot of examples of him being like, I don't want to do this, or like, hey, I think I should leave this guy to die. And he's like, but I can't. And there's even instances of him being like, yeah, like I think like he deserves it. But like it's not for me to pass that judgment. He's like, my job is just to save everybody. He's like, I gotta do what I'm supposed to do to the best of my ability, regardless of who it is or like what I want or what it could do to like he's got that kind of like sense of like I have to do what's right no matter the price. And I feel like that's just a good like lesson overall. Like there's a lot of instances, even like for me, it's like I'll find like if I'm doing something I don't want to do for work, I'll be like, hey man, it sucks, but this is what I gotta do.
But what
Like,
Spider-Man do?
What does
what would Spider-Man do? You know? Or like, oh, this is a pain in the ass, but it's like, but it's gotta get done. And if I don't do it, I'm just gonna be pushing it on somebody else who doesn't want to do it.
Joseph's responsibility maxing right now. That's what he's doing.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
WWSD, what would Spider-Man do?
That
I
tattooed across my
also
forehead actually.
want to take note too. I love the fact that most of his stories too, the odds are usually against him too. Like even like there's that
Yeah.
iconic scene where he's like holding up rubble and everything too, and it's most like that make him seem very genuine too, in general.
Well, I think kind of in those moments too, it's like they show that he has weakness. Like he's not the strongest guy out there. He's not perfect. Like I think that by showing those moments of maybe like um being kind of faulty and like having those moments of weakness, like they allow for such a deeper connection between the reader and the character because it's like, yeah, like he's not always making the best decisions. He's not always like perfect. He's not always like fighting at 100%, but it's like, but he still does what he has to do and he finds a way to push through. Like I think it takes it that little bit farther. Like there are I've read some comics where it's like I'm reading it and I'm like, yeah, it was cool, but like I had no fear that that guy was in danger, you know?
I mean, it is exactly what Talvadari teaches, like in general. Like the stakes or the consequences of the character, they have to match their goal. Like there has to be a possibility of failure just as much as there has to be a possibility of achievement. And that's what makes the best stories because like you said, if there's no danger at all, why do we care about what we're reading or watching, right? Like it is just point A is going to stay point A. Like nothing changes for the character.
Well, not even just that, but it's like it's not inspiring. Like if Spider-Man was like if it was Hulk lifting that rubble, right? It's like, yeah, no shit, it's the Hulk. What else is he gonna do? But like because it's Spider-Man and because it's like, yeah, he knows he probably can't lift it, but he's gonna try to anyways. Because
Mhm.
what else can he do? Like he has to do this.
I actually
Like it
was
just makes it that
working.
much more interesting and like I think deep.
Yeah, I was actually working on a video essay like a couple years ago, 2 years ago. It was titled Spider-Man: The Burden of Responsibility, and it goes into that, and it kind of talks about how the burden of responsibility is kind of like a curse because it would be easier for Spider-Man in some situations to just let shit happen, but obviously he
Oh yeah.
can't, and that's like a huge hubris of him, and I think that's really interesting. Like it's literally a curse. His responsibility is kind of a curse, and that's why I wrote the script that I wrote, because like I kind of wanted to show that and explore that idea that it's never gonna come to light because it's dead in the water.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing you point that out too, because I feel like it's that specific factor that separates the better Spider-Man adaptations from like the worst ones too. Because it's like that kind of balance that's essentially that makes his character so him and different, and the way he specifically deals with that too. Not only like just Peter Parker too. I feel like it's an ongoing theme that can be applied to like the other Spider people from one extent to another.
100%, dude. Like the one story that comes to mind is like JMS's like Morlun story, how he's like fighting Morlun
Yes.
for like 8 hours or whatever, and it's like he has to, like, his body is begging him to give up, but he knows he can't give up. Like he has to see it through. It's like his, because if he does, like bad stuff's gonna happen, right? Like he might start killing people, he might start wrecking stuff. Like he doesn't know, and so his
Well, no, I
body
think he
he has to
does
do it.
because I think more he tries to dodge and Moreland like starts taking out civilians.
Yeah, no, yeah, like the stakes are real, man. Like he has to keep
Yeah.
fighting as long as he can. He has to stall for as long as he can. And
Well, and
that's
even
just so
like
peak.
he thinks like what could be his last moves. Like he calls his aunt, but even then he's like, oh, but I can't worry her too much. So he's just like, love you, okay, bye. Like thanks for everything. Like he doesn't say like, hey, like I think I'm gonna die. He doesn't say like, hey, I'm Spider-Man surprise. Like he he still tries to do what's responsible in his like what he presumes could be his dying breath.
Yeah, and I think that's peak, man. I have to go
Yeah,
back and read
no, I agree.
JMS's run before One More Day.
Your
Um,
favorite your favorite Spider-Man story?
I never said that that was my favorite Spider-Man
Actually, no,
story.
that's after One More Day.
No, it's not.
Is it?
No,
Yeah, they're
one
separated in that.
more. No. One More Day is the last arc of JMS. That is JMS's last arc of Spider-Man.
Hey,
Maybe the
can we get Josh to check that? Where the hell is he? He's usually here
Josh,
in the back.
that guy took something from me. And I haven't seen him
what do you
either.
take?
I can't disclose that on the podcast, but Josh did take something from me.
Damn.
Yeah.
We'll get him. He couldn't have gone that far. I'll find him.
Yeah.
Well, don't you
Oh well.
text him every now?
Well,
Yeah, but he just
well.
says really cryptic clues. I'll just like it's just like a picture of like the back of my head or like
Okay. I see.
It's a lost cause. We'll do the funeral after a wrap.
No, Josh was like the
but
Riddler in the
yeah,
Arkham games, dude.
he's like the Riddler in Batman.
Yeah.
No, but
Anyways,
no, I was gonna say I read. I'm trying to remember what the volume was. It was like the JMS collection, and it started with the Moreland story, and then it went to the one where he was in Hollywood with MJ, and he had to lift the building because Doc Ock like collapsed it on him.
yeah.
But part of that is he's like, oh, like he's like, this is my wife, like we're separated.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wouldn't it have to?
No, but like I'm saying, like that's no. I actually don't know what story you're referencing, but you know what? We'll fact check it later.
Okay, the book was The Amazing Spider-Man by Straczynski, Ultimate Collection, Book 1.
Okay. I
the
don't know.
I just looked it up. Thank you, Logan, for the info. He just passed me a note. It actually the Moreland story takes place before One More Day.
Yeah, so like One More Day is literally the final arc of JMS, from what I remember. Like that literally
Interesting.
closes out his run into fuck, what was his name? He's a super Dan Slott's run, Brand New Day. Yeah.
Well, didn't GMS quit Spider-Man after one more day? Is it?
Yeah, because Nick
that's what
Lowe
happened, right?
forced him to end it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is literally
Yeah, it
absolutely.
left a bitter taste in the mouth and just like didn't want to do Spider-Man after
Yep.
he was forced to do that.
Anyway, I like how you brought up Aunt May. Super hot take. I think Aunt May needs to die. I think she also needs to pull an Alfred. I think Aunt May doesn't really have a place in modern Spider-Man comics. Whoa. My bad.
Oh, Spider-Man. I was expecting a Batman
shit.
spoiler. Damn.
Editor, cut that.
Why do you think? Yeah. Why do you think she needs to die though?
I feel like Aunt May has just outlived her usefulness, man. Like I don't know. The
Here
character
first.
of
Rob wants to put down old people once they're no longer useful.
Look, I think modern Spider-Man has been stagnant for a very long time. He needs something to switch up his status quo that's not him breaking up with MJ for the 50th time. He needs something else to drive him forward. And
okay.
That's what Spider-Boy is there for.
Hell no. I just think Aunt May she genuinely doesn't have a place besides being that rock in his life, but he keeps coming back to that rock like 20 years later.
Let me rephrase the question this way.
Okay.
Let me rephrase the question this way. You're a big Superman fan. Do you think the Pa Kent and Ma Kent should be left alive or dead?
I think that killing Pa Kent was one of the best decisions ever because it shows that Superman, even as powerful as he is, cannot save everyone. And he just has to live with that.
To show that. I feel like they kill enough people in Superman comics to where it's like
no, but it hits more because it's Pa Kent. Like it's a lasting consequence, man. It's kind of the whole thing where Jor-El was dead for like 80 years and then they just brought him back. It made that completely irrelevant. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know, man. Burn me on a stake. I think Aunt May needs to die, dude. I think Tom Holland's Spider-Man did something right.
Okay, here's...
I think they were cooking, I don't know.
I have a 50-50 because I kind of agree with you. I think Aunt May... I think they should consider killing her. However... I think doing it now would have no effect. Because you look at Aunt May as a character in older Spider-Man comics, and you look at her now, she doesn't do anything now. She just kind of shows up every now and again and be like, remember me, Spider-Man? I raised you.
What's the point, dude? Like, what's the point, bro?
No, but that's what you need to make her more of a presence in his life for it to be impactful. So like when they killed her off back in the 90s, with Ben Reilly, like I have that issue somewhere. But it was a big deal. Like she was fairly present in his life. It was this really heartfelt goodbye. Like it was a time. I think they got around it by being like, oh, it was a secret clone of Aunt May that they like got sick on purpose to do this to like ruin him. And then also Ben Reilly watched her die. And it was interesting because, before they revealed it wasn't actually Aunt May actually dying, you saw Peter go through his grief with it, right? He's surrounded by families. Heartbreaking, but like he's like learning to get through it. And then you also see Ben Reilly having to deal with it, but he can't go to anybody.
And that's why he's Chasm
and
now.
So I don't even want to talk about Chasm right now. We can get to that later. But I think the way they have it now, not only is Aunt May too far removed from everything going on in Modern Spider-Man, I think it wouldn't even matter. She's died multiple times and come back multiple times. So it's like, I fucking care.
Is she removed? I don't. You've been keeping up with the new Amazing Spider-Man series, right? Isn't it like a plot point? Isn't it a plot point that she's constantly trying to check up on Peter and like make sure he's okay? And then a huge thing is like, oh, Ben Reilly was a dick to her, so then like it kind of ruins his relationship with Aunt May when he comes back. Like she's there.
I'm a few issues behind, so there could be some new stuff, but
okay.
From what I remember reading, I think that was in like one issue. It was bigger with Mary Jane because that was the thing was, Ben runs into MJ and she's like talking to him and she tells him that she's Venom and Ben just goes, oh, I thought you were going to ask if we can get back together. All right, bye. And then he just like closes the door in her face and leaves.
Yeah, man. Ben Reilly's Chad Maxing right now.
I truly remember maybe like two things about Aunt May in the new Spider-Man run. I don't think she does a lot. And having read like some of the 70s Spider-Man, even when Peter's an adult, he's not living there anymore. Like she is still ever present in his life. Like I think they could have done it during Superior Spider-Man.
Right.
I think that would have been a good time to do it. But I think right now she's too far removed from main continuity. However, I do agree that current Spider-Man has been stagnant. I think they're getting better with the Joe Kelly run, but I think part of it is just they don't let Peter grow up.
They don't. Yeah.
So it was interesting when it was like you'd see him in high school and then you see him in college and then after college and he's getting this life and it's really cool. And then now they're kind of like, and then he's like about like 27, maybe 28 for the rest of his life.
Really?
He's
I
constantly in
imagine him
situationships.
I imagine him as 33 for the past like 20 years.
I could see him as, I think when he was college professor and like doing all that shit, I could see him as like 30 to 33. But I feel like now I'm just like, I can't.
I see. What do you think, Nate?
Bring up you do bring up a good point though. I'm leaning more towards Joseph's side because if Aunt May died, that's the thing. I'd feel nothing because Joseph is right because of how detached he is from like I guess most Spider-Man media nowadays as well too. I mean, I feel like part of you also admitted too, like you also wouldn't care if Aunt May died. I feel like unless there's a narrative reason they feel confident about how like either they built up her character or something where you would feel something if you died. Like the reason why like spoilers, even though that was already mentioned, like Alfred's death was so impactful too, is because they resettled him into like being a huge part of the Batman family. And then all of a sudden he dies and like people were in denial about it too. It's like there's no way because he was so constant. Like you do compare it to Alfred's death, but I feel like it's not Alfred is is a lot more involved with Batman's canon and story than like Aunt May is. So that's why I feel like you shouldn't just kill someone just for the shock value of it. And like if they can somehow come up with a story or like a thread for Aunt May to like make her death actually impactful, then I'd be all for it as well too. Because I feel like this conversation then turns into okay, like what then? In that case, why not just kill Mary Jane or MJ if her death is gonna would shake up Peter's canon more?
Joseph would love
If
that.
that makes sense.
Joseph would love that.
Mayhaps. But I mean, even kind of building off of what Nate was saying about Alfred, it's like I think an easy way to kind of compare the importance of it is like if Aunt May died right now in the comics, how often do you think she'd be brought up?
She'd be brought up pretty often, I think.
But I'm saying like whether it be flashbacks or like
oh, dude,
not just like somebody's like, oh, I miss Aunt May. I mean like,
I think like every time Peter has an emotional like stint.
Okay, so what will maybe be like every like 10 issues?
Sure.
Alfred's in every issue of Batman right now.
Oh, was he in the last one?
I that's the one I haven't read, but he's been in 1 through 6.
I don't remember him being in the last. Okay.
7 I can't speak for, but
sure.
To be fair too, wasn't Joshua Williamson's whole like first arc of his Robin run about like kind of Robin grieving on Alfred's death as well?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. Well, and then the Tom Taylor Nightwing run, like the start of that run is literally, hey, Alfred left his entire life savings to Dick Grayson, and he would have wanted you to like build a better city.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are constantly feeling the effects of Alfred's death, even to this day, like years later. Whereas with Aunt May, it's like, I think you'd get a good grieving period, and I think you'd get some callbacks here and there. But you know what? Okay, I just remember the importance of Aunt May in the Joe Kelly run.
Okay,
the importance was in the first arc, the Hobgoblin thing. There was a lot of flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And so is her and Uncle Ben dealing with Peter as he's like going through like rebellious years.
Okay. Throwing it out there, this is like my prize picks thing. What if Aunt May dies at the end of the Death Spiral arc?
Probably will, dude.
It's possible, man. I mean, if there was an arc to kill Aunt May, this would be the arc, the Death Spiral arc, I think. I don't know.
They're probably going to.
And I hope they do, dude. I think Aunt May has outlived her usefulness. I
You
don't
guys
know.
heard it here first. Rob wants to kill the
You
old
just
lady.
want to kill old people at this point.
Look, man. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, man. I'm just saying, maybe Aunt May needs to go. We'll see. We'll see on Amazing Spider-Man issue 27.
So we shall.
Yeah. Anyways. Oh, you have something to add on to that?
Oh no,
My bad.
go ahead. I was gonna say nothing.
Oh, okay. Well, since we brought up Ben Reilly a lot, I think it's a good time to mention that Ben Reilly's Sensational Spider-Man suit is my favorite Spider-Man suit. I don't know about you guys. Like when he took over. Yeah. Like when he took over as Spider-Man, when Peter decided to retire, I thought that suit was pretty fire, man. And I think that it's cool on Peter's daughter as well, Spider-Girl. I just think it's a nice suit, honestly. It's probably my favorite suit in Spider-Man comics.
Fair. Okay. I wanna rebuttal with a possible tie of favorite suits, but then I also have a hot take for you.
Go ahead.
I think either Uncanny Spider-Man suit or Superior Spider-Man suit go stupid hard, and I think as much as I'm like I can't imagine Peter wearing it, I do think the Uncanny Spider-Man suit's so cool, dude.
That one was for Nightcrawler.
Yeah, but he went by Spider-Man at the time.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Because that was his whole thing. Being mutant was like illegal, and so he was like, "Oh, I borrowed the." He's like, "Oh, Peter, let me borrow the suit. Like, I don't understand how my tail fits, but like it does."
Okay.
And then people just kept thinking he was Spider-Man because they're just like, "Wow, he's moving quick today," like not realizing he was teleporting.
And not realizing is a giant tail. And he has
well,
because
I mean, if he's hanging upside down from the tree by the tail, it just looks like he's hanging from a web.
He has 3 fingers, but yeah.
And 3 toes.
I see that.
But the hot take is because you brought up the Ben Reilly thing, it reminded me. I think that Ben Reilly being the original Peter Parker would have been a more interesting twist than being like Ben Reilly's actually the real Peter, and then it's like no, just kidding. It was the real Peter we thought it was the whole time.
Okay.
I don't know, just something about that shakeup. I was like, that's really kind of cool. The clone saga, that was the whole thing. It was like he thought he killed the clone. Spider-Man went on for a while, and then it was like, no, actually, like you killed the original. You're the clone. And then he was like, oh shit, what do I do? And then I think that's when he took on the name Ben Reilly, because he's like, oh, like I don't know what to do. And then it was like Peter came back and was like, no. Right? Am I remembering that right? Was it Peter came back and was like, okay, I'll be Spider-Man now? Or did he come back and it's like, oh no, just kidding, you're still the original and that's the clone? Like, it was weird. They like undid it in a really stupid way of just being like, no, just kidding.
Well, I haven't read the Clone Saga in its entirety, so I'm only going off of what the Spider-Man life story told me. Where it was Green Goblin messing with it. So eventually Peter is like, "Oh, I'm back because I'm the real one," and Green Goblin kind of just like messed with the results or whatever. But honestly, I am okay with how it happened, how Ben Reilly is the clone, because I like the duality of it, where he was like, oh, yeah, I'm Peter. Oh, I'm not Peter, and I thought I was Peter. It's kind of like a Roxas Sora situation from holy shit, I stuttered. It's like a Roxas Sora situation from Kingdom Hearts, where it's like, yeah, but I am also my own person, and that's why I guess I'll just be Ben Reilly, even though I'm technically Peter Parker. I mean, I don't know. I just think that sets up for a really interesting narrative that they just can never get right with any Ben Reilly story. Maybe I'll write a Ben Reilly script, dude. I'm tired of it. I don't know.
If it's good, they won't take it. They're pretty keen on only doing bad Ben Reilly stories.
Yeah, no, you're right. They're only keen on taking terrible Ben Reilly stories. What do
you
think,
know what?
Nate?
But I will say, I really like him from what I've read of the Joe Kelly Spider-Man run. I think it's really funny when Tombstone's like, hey man, we don't want to have to hurt you. He's like, I don't fucking care. Do what you want to do? He leaves it like, dude, what?
Ben Reilly is low cortisol maxing right now, man. He's a low
really
cortisol guy. What do you think, Nate?
About the question or like Ben Reilly specifically?
Ben Reilly.
If I'm being honest too, even ever since I have I'm pretty indifferent about him, but that's because most of my attachment towards Spider-Man media is more in terms of like outside of the comics, based on what I grew up with personally, and he wasn't as present as well too. I do find it interesting whenever I see him though, if I'm being honest. Like as in like a guest character, like, oh, like who's this guy? In a weird way, it's like seeing another version of Spider-Man in like that kind of Spider-Verse too. Is like how it's hold the same significance to me too. So personally, I don't have that much attachment to him, but I do find it interesting the way they've gradually put him into more media. Like we know how you love across the his interpretation in
Oh,
Across the
I
Spider-Verse,
hate his interpretation
and
in Across the Spider-Verse.
and
God
as
damn.
Dude, my
well as
favorite.
and Spider-Man Noir as well, which they're apparently doing in the live action Noir series. So I wonder why they chose him being Ben Reilly over Peter Parker, which will be interesting to play out.
You gotta ask Nicolas Cage himself. Gotta ask the big man Nick.
That's true. Yeah, I was just on the phone with him the other day. I'll call him again and ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, super easy, super easy.
Okay, so Nate, what is your favorite Spider-Man suit then?
My personal favorite Spider-Man suit is actually the. Oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking out the name of it right now. Is it called the Spider Armor? The metal one.
Oh yeah.
steel-
Spider Armor Mark III.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Spider Armor Mark IV. I don't know why. I think it's one of those things where I saw him in when I grew up watching the Spider-Man animated series show up in that one episode too. I thought it was the coolest shit ever, from the shoulder pads to the um to like the way it was lined too. It was steel. I even thought it was cooler than the Iron Spider suit too. Like, oh wow, it's like Spider-Man as like a knight or whatever. And
I think it's fair.
it's always that design that sticks out of my head. It's kind of like when you're just that mindset when you're watching a cartoon and you see a person or like a character would drip for like no reason, or like they look in like
Piccolo?
kind of insane too. Yeah,
It's like watching Dragon
exactly.
Ball Z.
They're like wearing the coolest thing ever. Actually, my Dragon Ball Z version of that is just seeing literally anyone in Saiyan armor, if I'm being honest.
No,
Like,
you're right. Yeah,
whether
I
it was
agree.
Radish showing up in Saiyan armor, I was like, holy shit. My first thought was like, holy shit, they look awesome. That was my take on the Spire armor. But if I'm being like a more consistent answer as well too, I just like the original suit the most too. Specifically, like as closer they can get with the Ditko version with like the small spider and everything. So I'd say like even I love the Homecoming suit's interpretation of it. I even like the Spider-Man movie interpretation. Not the Spider. What am I saying? The Spider-Man video game interpretation too. Like the suit at the very beginning of the game. I actually hate the PlayStation suit, but that's like a whole nother
Damn.
topic.
Respectable, I guess.
So yeah, in terms of Peter Parker though, like consistent Peter Parker, I'm gonna go on a whim and say actually the Homecoming suit I like a lot as a translation of the suit from the comics to the screen.
Can I
Which is a hot
can I
take.
change my answer of favorite suit? I want to make it the vibranium suit for Miles.
That's fine. Go ahead, dude. I think that suit's really cool too. I bought the issue of the first appearance. I like that.
Dude,
It's dope. Yeah.
when I say just because it's like he's like a vampire during that part, so like, oh yeah, it just makes it easier for you to regulate like your bioelectricity, which is what's like keeping you human.
And Bloodhound was a thing, huh?
It sure was.
Yeah.
Not a good thing, but it
Is he
was
still
a
a
thing.
vampire? Is he still a vampire?
No, they cured it. I think.
Okay.
I think they cured it.
Okay.
I haven't read that full arc, but what I did read, I liked. Where they're like, oh, he's going through to change it.
Okay. How about this? Since we just brought up Miles, do you think Peter should retire and Miles should take up the mantle of Spider-Man? Ooh, there's that sigh.
I
Heard that?
if I'm gonna go on a whim and say it, I feel like Spider-Man isn't necessarily a mantle as much as like Batman is. Like I feel like there's less legacy to that title too. They can both coexist, so that's why I'm pretty indifferent about like Spider-Man quote unquote giving the mantle. What do you think?
I don't think I want him to retire, but I do think I would like to see a differentiation in what each Spider Person handles. I like when Miles handles like kind of the spy stuff, or like I will say the mythological stuff. He did that a lot too with the vibranium suit. Like I thought that was really really cool. But I also like when Peter is handling kind of like street level stuff, just sometimes it's like I'm like reading him in other books, and I'm just like, hey man, I feel like he's only here to show that he's like out of his element a little bit, or like, oh, just or like, oh, I don't like AVX. He was one of like the last people standing, and I'm like, should he have been? No. Did it convey his like, like I gotta stay strong just for everyone else? Yeah, but like I don't know. I think they should differentiate what each spider person is doing. Like I think Miles right now, they're like, fuck yeah, they got him on lock. They know exactly like how to write him well. I do like the current Peter stuff. I like that him going and doing space adventures is essentially just a way to dodge responsibility because he's so scared of failing. I know that I just talked about how he doesn't run away from responsibility, but he's like, I'll find new responsibility. But yeah, I feel like the worst Spider-Man comic story is when it's just like he's just doing random shit.
Counterpoint to what you said, I think Peter should retire. Okay, caveat to the very first question I asked when it's like, what's your favorite Spider-Man comic? I also genuinely really like the death of Ultimate Spider-Man. I think that whole arc is just peak, and that he died and then Miles had to take over. And just the weight of that mantle, it just meant a lot at the time. And Miles is like, oh, how can I take this up? How am I different from Peter? Like, how do I do this? Because he has no one to teach him except Peter's clone. I honestly, personally, I think Peter should retire and be like the veteran. Okay, so if you guys ever watched like Power Rangers, there's a specific special episode where the original Red Ranger is like retired and we're like 10 series like away from it, and then there's like a big special where like all the Red Rangers come together and they bring back like the original, and he's like, oh, you thought you couldn't do this without me? I think they should do something like that for Spider-Man 2, where like he kind of goes away and he does like stuff that's not Spider-Man related, but he shows up when he is needed because he always will have that weight of responsibility on him. But I think it might be time to just let Peter grow as a character away from the mantle of Spider-Man.
Low-key, I feel like if he's gonna retire, I feel like it's gonna be forceful. Like I want him to lose a leg or something like that.
Like how it happened in J.J. Abrams' Spider-Man Bloodline story. The one that was notoriously really bad.
I didn't read it, so I can't comment. But like,
okay,
because I feel like he wouldn't. I can't see him being like, I'm done being Spider-Man forever. Like I'm done being a hero.
Well, he's not gonna be done forever. He's just gonna be coming back like for the big stuff, Like say AVX.
This is what I mean. Like, I get, but then it's like he can still. You can make the argument of like, oh, but like if he's sidelined, like if he get, it's gonna be really fucked. If he gets oracled, like he can still contribute, but it's just. It's going to be indifferent. He has to be like, okay, how do I help now? Like, I can't be out there beating up the bad guy. So like, you know what? Okay, let me try and develop this. Let me do like this new web serum. Let me do these new gadgets. Like, and who knows? Maybe there's a part where he gets a symbiote and he goes full Flash Thompson, and all of a sudden he can use the leg that's gone. Like, I think it opens the door for enough possibilities to bring him back in different ways. But it removes that, like, well, if he's that worried, why doesn't he just put on the suit again?
Mm-hmm. Okay, sure. Like there has to be a physical reason why he cannot be Spider-Man anymore. Like it can't just be a conscious choice.
I don't see him ever making that choice. Especially, I mean, we've seen future stories and he's still Spider-Man in those.
Oh yeah, you got me. Amazing Fantasy 1000 when he's still Spider-Man when he's like 78. I thought that was pretty cool too. Okay, sure, yeah.
You do bring up a good point though. Like he'll never stop being Spider-Man, even in stories where he just loses his powers too. He always finds a way to still save people at the end of the day. I think the best option is between both of your, I guess, perspectives on this, where I think Spider-Man does need... It would be interesting to see how Peter Parker grows to be as an actual person if he isn't in the Spider-Man mantle anymore. But I also wouldn't want him to force him into that situation either, if that makes sense too, because I don't want to like cut off his leg because I still feel like he'd want to be a hero afterwards too. Like I rather get the self-realization that like of him wanting to take a step back like more than he has ever before too. But it's also a strange, like, you need to put him in a very specific situation and build up that situation in order to make that happen too, because of how ingrained actual heroism is into Peter Parker's character.
Okay, so dude, what if do you remember Zeb Wells' run, how Spider-Man was like I forgot what it was, but before the whole Paul thing, it was like a big mystery of like what did Spider-Man do, and like he's like an asshole to like all the Avengers and stuff like that, and like what if that not continued, but like what if that plot line led to him retiring because he's like, man, like I can't fix the situation. You know, MJ is not going to come back to me. We're not going to make it work. Everyone hates me. Aunt May is like, maybe she's dead. I don't know. He has no one to rely on, you know? So he's like, you know what? To dodge responsibility, because life is so bad, I can't win this battle, even though I usually do. I'm just going to take a break and focus on being Peter Parker.
I think something has to happen. I think it's going to be like a Daredevil from Zdarsky thing, where it's like he accidentally kills somebody, or he accidentally gets somebody killed. And then he's like,
no,
I can't
but the whole
be
point
Spider-Man
of that,
because of this, but he's like, but I want to help.
No, but the whole point of that is that he eventually does become Daredevil within a short period of time too. Like I'm thinking like this is a long-lasting arc, in my opinion.
Spider-Man no more.
He's also like,
too.
I guess you're right.
But Daredevil's whole thing is he's also like, oh, but for a while he's like, I didn't kill that guy. I have to prove that it was someone else who's like trying to frame me.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finds out, oh no, it was me.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Spider-Man's like, he would know, like, no, that's directly my fault. And I think he'd be like,
I mean,
and as a result, I gotta hang up the costumes.
It's been done before.
Yeah, but that was also a little bit different. It was Wolverine's evil. Was she evil? I can't remember. It's Wolverine's like ex-girlfriend or something like that. And she's like, I want to die. So she tricks him into punching her in the face so hard.
Oh no, I was talking about Gwen Stacy. He has killed someone before. Not intentionally, but he has.
Gwen Stacy, I think everyone, including Peter, counts it as Green Goblin. He's like, oh, I couldn't save her, but he's not like, I killed her.
Yeah, I
feel like the context is also different from Daredevil because he's like overridden by Catholic guilt, which is why like killing someone it heavily affects him and like,
we don't know
analyze his morals even more. Exactly. Yeah. Whereas with Peter too, like I feel like it's also a different context of Peter because he can pull enough punches. Like Daredevil is a much more grounded character too, so it's much easier to put him into like stories that deal directly with something that's more human to or closely related to, which is harder to do with Spider-Man too. Like I said, it's like I feel like you'd have to put him in a very specific situation and under a very specific context too, to put Spider-Man into a place where he does actually take a step back for a long time too.
I'm trying to think, and I was gonna like bring up like, oh, Spider-Man Fugitive, but I think there's already been an arc like that in the 90s where he has to become different heroes because Spider-Man is wanted.
Yeah, he becomes Ricochet.
Yeah. I mean,
Ricochet and one other one. That's another bug.
No, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, I think Peter should retire unless they do something crazy with his character. I think that Peter's kind of hit that stagnant point for me where I just go back and I like older Spider-Man stories more, you know, because the character, like, there's just more going on. There's just more change going on, you know?
I feel like that to like establish like how we all like view like where Peter would go then that brings the question to like what do you think is the next step for Spider-Man's character to like genuinely change after we've talked about how like his whole character arc feels very cyclical where like
he's like Sisyphus.
He's always going through the same arcs. Huh?
He's like Sisyphus. He keeps rolling the boulder up the hill and it keeps falling down on him. I mean,
yeah, exactly. But like that's what people want too. So it's hard to like.
I don't want that anymore.
I don't know if I'd say that's what people want. I think that's what Marvel
like what used to. Yeah.
I think that is like, just what Nick Lowe wants, bro. I don't think any Spider-Man fan wants that anymore.
Yeah, he got caught writing himself fan mail, being like, "I love what you guys are doing with it. Please don't put Peter back with Mary. Please don't make him happy again." And they're like, "Hey, that's your writing, and you sent it from your address." It's like, guys, it doesn't matter. What's important is we're getting fan mail.
It's what the fans want. What can I say?
No, yeah. It also gets weird to a certain extent too, where it's like you're like in some stories you're basically like almost 40 and you're still talking about as if you were like 18. You know, it's
just like something needs to change. Something needs to change in Spider-Man's life. Like he's hit that point where a big event has to happen.
So, what is your thing is a key thing that needs to change, or even like if you can think of one, like how that change will put in a direction where, or interesting direction you'd want to see for Peter's character, basically.
Tying it back to the beginning of what I said, I think that big change is Aunt May dying. And I think he has to take a step back and realize that, oh, I can't save everyone. Like, makes him question, like, this happened twice to him with Gwen Stacy, with the woman he killed, Wolverine. Like, maybe he's not cut out for it. And I know there's like a bajillion stories of him like overcoming that and stuff like that. But like, this one should be super personal because it is Aunt May. It is the one person besides Gwen Stacy that he's astronomically close to. It would make the most impact of his life enough to where he would retire, I think.
I think they need to reboot Spider-Man.
Damn, bro. They just wipe the slate, dude. It's just too much. Just wipe it off.
Well, because here's my thing. You know me, diehard X-Men fan, right? So I want to put that out there to show, like, I do not take Marvel reboot like super lightly. I'm just like, fuck it. I would hate to see X-Men rebooted. However, I think it would fix majority of the other series. I think X-Men and Fantastic Four are the only two franchises I don't see being fixed by that. But like everything else, it's a really good opportunity for them to consolidate what works and maybe like even tweak it further, but then not have to worry about like I get that we were just joking, but like pretty fair consensus that people like MJ.
Yeah.
As his partner. You now don't have to worry about One More Day.
You know? That is the prevailing theory of what Chip Zdarsky's new event is, Armageddon.
The Armageddon event. Yeah, I heard somebody say that he said like it wasn't or something. Somebody was like, oh no, but I kind of hope it is. I think there's also certain things where it's difficult because Peter's been late 20s, early 30s since like 1990.
Yeah.
You know? And for a while they were kind of aging him up with the reader. And I thought that worked incredibly. Like having Peter go from like high school kid to college kid to like photographer to like, I don't remember if he was a scientist. No, I think he's still a photographer in the 90s, but having him be a teacher, dude, I was like, that's so cool. And like, it makes so much sense for his character, like both in terms of his skill set and his like, his point of view, like everything about that felt like it was coming together. And then they're like, and now he works at a super cool high-tech lab. And I'm like, okay, it's kind of cool, I guess. It could be interesting. And they're like, and then he got fired, but then he opened his own billionaire like Tony Stark with spider powers, and you're like, oh, and it's like, and then he lost it, and then he went to work for another, and I'm like, why?
Okay,
like I think by rebooting it, yeah, go ahead.
Counterpoint: the issue with wiping the slate clean, and this is the issue I have with the Absolute series, specifically Absolute Batman. Once you wipe the slate clean, people are gonna look at these major events that happened in the past as like checkpoints or like waypoints for the new series. Like, oh, what is this guy's Clone Saga gonna be? Oh, what is this guy's, like, a terrible example, One More Day gonna be, right? Like, people are gonna keep questioning that, and I think it might take away from it. I don't know.
But you're gonna get that with anything. You could start a brand new comic series and somebody's still gonna be like, this is like, you know, the death in the family of Spider-Man. Or like this, you know, oh, this is the Kraven's Last Hunt of Nightwing. You're going to get those comparisons regardless, no matter if it is a reboot, if it's an Elseworlds, if it's just a random arc in the series, like that's going to happen anyways. And I think when you look at stuff like both Ultimate Spider-Mans, like the OG Ultimate and the current one, it's like part of why those are so well received, in my opinion, is their fresh start. Like people don't have to worry about 60 years of Spider-Man history that like sometimes matters and sometimes doesn't and sometimes makes sense and other times is just kind of like, well, the writer got really pissed off at editorial, so he did this like really shitty thing and then quit, and they had to kind of like clean up all the ass. Like I think it is able to kind of be like, well, what would be most interesting, and like they'll take some of those things as inspiration and they'll be like, you know what, like, hey, yeah, we want the symbiote still, but like our Spider-Man's more grounded, so like he's not gonna go to space and get this magical space suit that is secretly an alien. It's like, it's basically a bioweapon, unintentionally, but right. I mean, his dad and Eddie Brock's dad created it,
like
trying to cure cancer.
Yeah.
But then I feel like it becomes a balancing act too, because if you change it too much or quote unquote like too radical with it too, especially like in a way that's a little off, then people are going to start be like, oh, this isn't like Peter Parker anymore too. And so it's like, I feel like it's right in that fine line where it's still trying true to the character, but it's also like it's just going in a different direction with them too. And I think you also bring up a good point where I feel like when you make these new iterations or new versions of like legacy characters, a lot of people are going to be like counting down the clock as like, oh, I can't wait till they reach like this kind of event in their life, or even like on a very basic level too. Like, oh, I can't wait until they meet this villain, without considering like, oh, maybe they'll find a whole new cast, which is why like they have their own version of a different villain instead of like a just different villain in
Yeah.
general too.
Yeah.
That's true, and I will say in support of your point, I think that the writers would just have to be really, really careful of making sure that they're not alienating fans by being like, yeah, like nothing will ever be the same or similar, but also not kind of giving into fan service without and still doing something new and fresh and creative. However, I almost feel like that anticipation could be good because it's like it's gonna make more people want to check it out because it's gonna be like, are they doing this? Are they going to
But
like
this
with
is
Absolute Batman, right?
coming. This is coming from someone that loves Absolute Batman. What I'm saying is coming from a place of I don't love Absolute Batman that much. Crazy take.
Okay,
I'm gonna get crucified
let me
right
throw
now.
this out there. As
Go
someone who's
for it, Robert.
read,
Be careful. This could get down absolute
yeah,
Batman
yeah,
talk.
this might be worse than your Spider-Man phrase, but
Oh man.
as,
Okay.
as somebody who's read at least parts, like at least a couple issues from each Absolute series, I think they all have that to a certain extent. Like Superman, right?
Mhm.
Like you can't tell me you weren't like, oh well, what are they going to do with Lex Luthor? How are they going to introduce him? Especially after Absolute Evil, like everyone was like, oh, like they cut to him at the end. Oh, how are they going to make him evil?
Sure, but why do you think I dropped
Like
Absolute Superman?
because you thought it was boring.
I guess that's fair.
Ooh. But no, like that's gonna happen. You could even do like a soft reboot. You could be like, yeah, you know what, like we're just gonna keep like kind of like Rebirth or New 52, where it's like we kept the most important time stuff, and then anything that's different we'll kind of go over or explain, and like you're still gonna get that comparison. You'll still get that like, well, what are they gonna do to this guy? Like that's just inevitable. You get it now. You know, you could be reading Spider-Man now, and you'll probably get people who are like, well, when are they gonna bring back this guy? When are they gonna bring in fucking Rhino, or when are they going to bring back like Harry Osborn? That like I think if the main concern for rebooting is people wanting certain storylines to be specifically mentioned or adapted, I'd say go reboot anyways, because it's like those things will either be addressed or intentionally left alone.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's what Life Story is there for.
Wait, but you
Exactly.
read the original Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think I'm on Omni 4.
You read a majority of it. That's basically what they did in the early 2000s. They wiped the slate clean.
Yeah,
Granted,
no, and
it is one of the most
it was
beloved
great.
runs. Yeah, but
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
But the thing is that that's like, how do I put this? If you wipe the slate clean with 616 Peter, people are gonna expect different things rather than 1610 Peter, right? Where it's like I genuinely don't think you can get rid of the character of Peter Parker Spider-Man because fans are gonna riot. You can make him retire and come in like every once in a while, but if you just get rid of him completely, like you're gonna riot. But then if you like wipe the slate clean, you're gonna have people against that too because they're gonna be like, "Oh, this is not my Peter." So like,
You're gonna have people against everything.
What is the way to split the difference, right?
I think the way to split the difference is just to pick a side and then
just go commit. For it. Just fully send it.
Because that's the thing. If they were to reboot and then they're like, well, we don't want to make everyone upset, so we're going to kind of keep it the same as it was, then it's like, well, then there's no point in rebooting. Mm-hmm. But then if they don't reboot and they're like, but we don't want to make anyone like, you know, too off, so we're just going to keep everything very kind of like, you know, like lukewarm, like nothing crazy happening, but like nothing really that they're like used to from the past. Like I feel like you're gonna run into that same problem. That's why I'm like, I think rebooting would kind of fix it because not only can you now, okay, you can make them a little bit more relatable. You can be like, you know what, yeah, like I the 60s Spider-Man kind of a loser. Mm-hmm. Like he sucked. I read some of those issues. He did. Hate to say it.
So you're advocating against a Spider-Man reboot in terms of like a Spider-Man New 52, right?
Yeah, I think they should do maybe a mix of Ultimate Spider-Man and current in the sense of reboot like Ultimate, right? Have it as a good jumping on point. And I'm talking like OG Ultimate. And like, you know, whatever, reestablish how villains are introduced. Maybe like, hey, you know what? Yeah, this guy was kind of just shoehorned into the Hobgoblin's a great example, right? The reveal of him being Ned Leeds was not great because it wasn't supposed to be Ned Leeds. With the reboot, you can kind of redo that and you can create that drama, and it doesn't have to be who it was supposed to. It could be, you can make it fucking Aunt May for all I care. Don't, but but my point is, you can really kind of take these characters and do whatever you want with them in a way that's going to be more interesting. I think my problem with the original Ultimate Universe is there was a lot of stuff that felt like it was just trying to be different just for shock value or just to say they're different, looking at the Ultimate series. And I think that's where it really got away from me.
Okay. So going off of what you just said, how is that different from Absolute Batman? Because isn't that what it's doing? How everyone is like, oh, this is the Joker. He's like kind of insane, you know. He's been this mythical thing that's been around for so long and eats babies. And then what about like other villains? Like, isn't every single issue of Absolute Batman, when I read it up to like issue 12, isn't it just like, oh, what's this character gonna be like? What's this character gonna be like? What's the next character
I
gonna
think
be
to an
like?
extent it definitely is, but I also think for me, at least the way I see it with Absolute Batman, it's very much like how but like this character is going to happen. Like that is a fixed point in
Mhm.
time. And so how do they get there without these dominoes already being set up, right? Like with Two-Face, it's like you know, the whole acid in the courtroom because he went
Yeah.
after the Falcones. It's like, okay, but he's not the district attorney, you know, he doesn't have the same influence. Like, so how does he become Two-Face? Because he's not going to be in that same situation. Or like
Mhm.
Batman, it's like, yeah, like why? How does he kind of get around? How does he do this? 'Cause, like part of his whole thing was his parents were rich and then they both died and then they left it to him. But this one's like his parents weren't rich and one of them's alive. So how does he get his resources? How does he build his stuff? Like,
I
I
understand
think
now.
it kind of, yeah, it, you know what needs to be reached, but you're like, but you don't know how you're going to get there.
Let me clarify.
And for me, that's what makes it interesting.
I understand the difference in our philosophies here. Nate, I'm sorry if we're not giving you the floor, but I understand.
No, I'm listening.
I understand the genuine fundamental philosophies of our taste. Okay, I'm not going to say this as a blanket statement, but when you read Absolute Batman, you like seeing what they're going to do differently based on past events. Like you want to see the next interpretation of this because it keeps you reading, keeps you interested, it keeps you like wanting more. What I want from Spider-Man is something that's completely different, that creates those same like beats for that character without relying on stuff from the past. That's what I want from Spider-Man. That's why when I say I want Spider-Man to retire or do other stuff, like I want moments where it creates these iconic arcs for him that doesn't have to rely on the previous source material in any way, shape, or form.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Just
Nate,
give
what
his
do you
ass
think?
Just give his ass, shoot him in the head and give him his ass amnesia too, and rebuild Spider-Man from the ground up.
Make him a taxi driver.
Exactly.
Okay. Look,
I would
mean,
actually read that though, if I'm being
call
honest.
him
for Peter
Petey.
Parker.
Petey Parker. Yeah, Petey Parker.
Just give him a Rick Grayson arc.
They
I
probably
think
just call him Ben.
they probably would.
Oh yeah.
I would. I don't know. But to pitch what I want, right? And this could be a terrible Spider-Man take if this goes on TikTok. Have a Spider-Man focus more on Peter Parker and then put him in these situations that forces him to not be Spider-Man, but still be Spider-Man at his core. Because what is Spider-Man? Is it Peter Parker or is it the costume, right? Is it genuinely him as a good person or is it him using that mask also along with Uncle Ben's death? Like, what is Peter Parker / Spider-Man? Who is he, right? Have that your emotional crux. Build a side series or maybe like a 12-issue mini where he explores that, where he goes away from New York, where he goes to a different state or maybe a different country, and he just has to figure it out for himself. And he has these little life moments that reassures his identity. Or maybe he just figures out that, hey, maybe I can still be this person, this good person, without being Spider-Man, and then have him grow from there. I mean, I don't know, just a thought, but
Getting a lot of the Spider-Man in space arc from Joe Kelly. I mean that in a good way because I like that arc. Yeah, but I was like, that's what they're. I feel like that's kind of what they're trying to do now.
But he's still Spider-Man, though, right? Like, I don't know.
Kind
like,
of, but the whole thing is nobody knows who Spider-Man is.
Right.
So there's like you're just a dude who's kind of strong. Because like he gets his ass kicked on Earth, gets teleported into space, has to survive on this planet, gets picked up by the scientist who's like, oh yeah, like just help me do my little funny little science experiments, and then finds out like, oh, this guy's gonna kidnap me and use me as an experiment. So he has to free all the other ones. Like it's like nobody knows who Spider-Man is because they're not from Earth.
I see.
So it's like he has to just be himself and do what he thinks is right without that kind of attachment of like, this is my image. He's like, it's just him. I mean, he can go by Spider-Man, but it doesn't mean anything to them.
What do you think, Nate?
I think in terms of like, I guess that conversation about rebooting Spider-Man or taking him in a different direction. I think there's a world where both can happen in the sense where Peter Parker can like retire or okay, to live in Robert's perspective for a bit where he is taking it in a different direction where he gets to see his life outside of Spider-Man, wherever that is, and like kind of rebuild his character. I, f- I can't see that's the thing. I can't see that happening beyond like a few volumes or like that for extended run because of how I feel like it would require to transform the preconceived like notion of like who Spider-Man is, not necessarily transform in a sense or like too radically, but like how his character is so ingrained in his origins, right? Like from like the kid that became Spider-Man and like kind of not necessarily repeating that story, but like all of the stuff that makes Spider-Man Spider-Man all revolves his origin too, with very little like of elements of what he picked up along the way too, which is I feel like is both like a problem as well as not just a problem for like the character currently, but like also like an obstacle to leap over too because of how defined the Spider-Man iconography is. So, in that sense, I'm all for. If anything, I'm gonna be honest. I'm leaning more towards Robert's direction because I do think they should commit to a new direction, no matter what people think. But the only hope we can have at that point is hopefully that new direction does have a good writer on it where you can say, oh, although like maybe I don't agree with certain points, I will admit like I'm invested and the character they are writing is like solid so far and I want to see what happens next is my take on all of that.
Okay. Joseph, maybe we'll just agree to disagree here.
We might have, and that's fine. Like, I think
I mean,
too. Like,
I don't hate you secretly. I mean, you know.
Yeah, no, and you're free to feel however you want, but
no, yeah, of course.
No,
Don't be surprised if
be...
you hear ticking when you're going to sleep. Just close your eyes.
Yeah.
Joseph, don't start your car.
Yeah. Hey, I was gonna make a joke actually. Editor, cut that. No, but I think too part of it is this is one of those instances where I'm like I'm kind of hoping to get proven wrong. Like,
okay, yeah.
As much as I'm advocating, like I think it needs to be a reboot. If a Spider-Man run comes out and it's really good and it puts them in a new direction that kind of like revitalizes the series, I'm not gonna be like, stupid, you should have been new. I'll be like, oh shit, okay, cool. Like, you know?
Yeah. Okay, and you know what? To that extent, if they completely wipe the slate clean with Spider-Man and they do the thing they're doing with Absolute Batman, maybe I'll like it. Maybe I'll like this over Absolute Batman. Who knows? Maybe it just needs a better writer. Absolute Spider-Man. I think maybe I just don't like Scott Snyder. I don't know. You know, like it could be a multitude of things.
You know,
dude, I'm gonna get crucified this episode, bro. I feel like I've said some crazy stuff, dude. Oh man.
You hate old people and you don't like Scott Snyder.
It's oh man. All right. Well,
it's rough.
Okay, so going off of that, what is your ideal homeostasis for Spider-Man? Like, should he be broke? Should he be rich? Should he be struggling? Should he have a relationship?
Lower middle class.
Yeah.
I like when he's like he's not rich, but he's comfortable enough and he's happy because I think it gives him more to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've seen him broke and miserable so much that it's like who cares at this point.
I'm a little closer with Joseph on this one, where I just want to see like some regression in his life. So that's why I'd rather not see him like as a broke loser. I actually want to see him as like a very well-rounded adult in general, like as a basis, and then he has problems on top of that. If that makes sense.
You just need him to get his shit together.
I want him to have his shit together. If I'm being honest, too, like move on from MJ as well too, and like just like be happily single. Because I'm also getting tired of that will they won't they deal with them, and I think like the best Spider-Man is one that's living in the future, if that makes sense, and being more forward thinking, and that's well round together, and then the problems come after that. If that makes sense.
I think I agree.
Yeah.
I do want him to have something that he can lose because right now it just seems like he's just losing everything. without like, like it just seems like he's on a constant negative where I feel like he needs to have something that's really good, really solid foundation, and then there is the threat of him losing it. Because right now, I think his life's been terrible ever since Zeb Wells took over. Like, I think 100 issues ago, his life is still bad. I think.
Yeah, I mean, the pre-space thing, they kind of were getting it better, where it was just like he's got a new job, like he's seeing somebody, like, but it's the same trap. It's as soon as it starts to get a little bit good, something happens.
But it needs to be good for a while, so then the threat of it being taken away means more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It seems like we're all on the same page as Spider-Man. It seems like there's no controversial opinions here.
Oh yeah.
Well, what if they just de-aged him?
Oh, okay.
They pulled a Magneto in the 80s.
No, I'm not advocating for this fight. I'm just throwing a hypothetical out there too. If they're so like,
what if they
just straight up
de-aged
de-aged
him?
like,
De-aged
oh wow,
him
I'm like
to Miles's age, or de-aged him to like 15?
to like 15, how he was when he started as Spider-Man 2. Or okay, let me give you this hypothetical. Would you rather see him an arc or two of him de-aged, or see however long it goes, see him have a kid? And see where that goes.
I'd rather see him have a kid. I'm not gonna lie. Look, man. The worst part, the worst thing that's ever happened to Spider-Man, I swear to God, is One More Day. Like, there was so much to lose for him there, and it was just so like dramatic. And then they just, I can't live without Aunt May, man. We gotta sacrifice our marriage and our unborn kid that can somehow kill the devil in the future.
Dude, that's the thing. If they killed Aunt May there, think about how powerful that story would have been.
Like, that's peak, bro. But we live in the bad timeline. We live in the dark timeline, man. Like, I don't know.
Okay, so we've been talking a lot about different Spider-Man events. Who would you guys want to see write a Spider-Man book? I know Rob's gonna go with Scott Snyder.
Dude, oh my god. The joke answer would be, oh man, I really want to see write Spider-Man. That would be the joke answer. I mean, I don't know. I think
I'll say Living or Dead.
Yeah. I feel like it's already been
and
done.
You can also, with an asterisk of, you can even say, I want to say this writer during this specific time, whether like for his 80s Frank Miller, for example, or whatever.
Honestly, I wish that Chip Zdarsky's Ultimate Spider-Man didn't end at issue 24, and it didn't have to end at issue 24.
Wait, Ultimate? You mean Spectacular? Was it Spectacular?
Yeah, Spectacular.
Or Friendly Neighborhood? It was Spectacular, right?
Am I fucking stupid?
Are you thinking of Hickman?
I'm thinking about Hickman. Holy shit. Okay, cut that whole part out.
Said Zdarsky.
Okay, cut that whole part out. I want Jonathan Hickman to write. I want Jonathan Hickman to write Spider-Man. I genuinely like the beginning of Ultimate Spider-Man. I just think that the fact that it had to end at issue 24 and they had to rush everything because it was supposed to end from conception, I think that shot it in the foot. But I would just love to see Jonathan Hickman on an ongoing Spider-Man book that isn't limited. That's my thing.
It's fair.
I just think Hickman's world building is just next level,
So, are you talking about him on mainline
Yeah, I want Jonathan Hickman on main. Yeah, I want him on mainline Spider-Man. If you do the reboot, the mainline Spider-Man, but if you're gonna continue with the Elseworld stuff, just keep him on Ultimate. I don't know. Like, I feel like it's got a good base. Like, everything that's been going on, like, I like it. People say it's boring, but I don't think so. I don't know. I think it's a very consistently written series at points. A couple one-offs, but yeah.
Fair. I feel like I gotta go with Daniel Warren Johnson.
Ooh,
hey,
that's a good one.
Say the exact
that's
same
a good
thing.
one.
I was gonna say
that's why I had to sound like I'm like Nate's gonna say this before. I gotta get it out there.
You can go. You say why first, though.
I think, and here's why I go with him. Oh, like, I would love him on art too, but I think writing more so. I think after reading Beta Ray Bill and Wonder Woman Dead Earth, I think he's got such a and honestly Murder Falcon. He has such a unique way of writing characters dealing with grief. And I think Spider-Man is a character that is so commonly associated with that I would really, really want to see how he handles that.
Okay, sure, yeah. I can see
my reasons for Daniel Warren Johnson, though, I feel like he's specifically really good at creating very human moments out of like the most insane shit ever. If with like a film analogy too, I feel like it like in Everything Everywhere All at Once, where I feel like he's very good at finding something human or like a human story out of something very fantastical, whether it's like Beta Ray Bill or like I also really love Murder Falcon too, where at the end of the day, like you can talk about the spectacle of that story, but you can also easily find what that story is truly about. And I feel like that's exactly what would make him so good on Spider-Man, especially in ongoing. Because I also do think his storytelling in terms of like where he pushes his characters feels very not risky, but or radical either. But I feel like he's very good at pushing these characters to the limit, but not in a sense where it's like gratuitous or like edgy, but like it's for their benefit where it pushes them to their limit to make them more vulnerable and show them like who they truly are underneath. I feel like that's very true to Spider-Man 2 in general, and I feel like his art would look amazing on Spider-Man 2 with Mike Spicer's colors would be absolutely like chef's kiss. So that's why my endorsement for Daniel Warren Johnson, just writing everything at this point, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
That's fair. Yeah.
Okay, so to add on to that, accompanying your writer, who's the artist, would it also be Daniel Warren Johnson for both of you guys? Writing and drawing?
No.
Dude, he's gonna fucking lose it, bro.
I know. I'm sorry. Well, here's the thing. I want to point that if Daniel Warren Johnson were the writer, I think he should be his own artist. However, these two are like separate for me.
Hmm.
Like I don't know who I don't know, Hickman or Rick Remender. Like I don't know who I'd say should be the writer for the artist, but well, actually, you know what? No, fuck it, I take it back. These artists can also do their own writing. I would say depending on what era of Spider-Man, either Darwin Cook or Mike Mignola.
Ooh. Ooh.
I think
Mike Mignola on Spider-Man.
Ooh.
I just feel like it'd be cool, and I feel like adapting some of like the darker storylines. I could see how that would be like a really interesting like kind of perspective that we maybe haven't seen before. Like imagine like a Mike Mignola Black Suit Spider-Man run, like miniseries. I'm like, that'd be so cool. And if you're adapting anything old school, I'm like, dude, Darwin Cook.
I have a pretty interesting combo though in terms of
Go ahead.
not necessarily like I'll double down on this combo, but I think it'd be a very interesting pair. But especially for a Spider-Man that's like pushing to be more like new too, with Daniel Warren Johnson as a writer, I want to see like how like he pairs with Sean Murphy as the artist too.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be good.
Ooh,
Because
okay.
I feel like his not only like his art style, I feel like would fit like an alternate Spider-Man. But I feel like his art style is also kind of like darker and edgy. It has a style to it.
It's really
Emphasizes a
dynamic
lot of
too.
style. It's yeah, exactly. It's very dynamic too, and I love the way he does character designs as well too. I mean, I won't lie. I love how the Batman white knight suit is a combination of a many different elements of like bat suits in the past too. Like you have the collar, but you also have like the gray and black too. But it's like also a more modernized bat bat logo too. But yeah, I think they'd be an interesting pair.
Yeah. Well, my favorite pairing would be Jonathan Hickman, and then his artist would be Jorge Jimenez. So I'm actually really excited for the new DC Marvel crossover because he draws a story in that. I mean, I'm just a really big Jorge Jimenez guy, so that's just my greed. I would like to see that combo. I think it could work very well.
He's a whore for Jorge.
I'm
I feel like
Jorge,
he
yeah.
does draw. All of his drawings have a lot of optimism in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they look very bright and colorful.
And
but
I think he would just work really well.
Yeah.
How would you guys feel about Bruno Redondo for Spider-Man?
Ooh, that's
no.
Really?
No. Yeah, I don't want to see that. Except for a mini.
Really?
I don't. There's just something about that pairing that throws me off, I think. Jonathan Hickman and Bruno Redondo.
I will say just Bruno Redondo. I don't know who the writer is. Just Bruno Redondo.
Oh, okay. Huh. I don't think I
Fuck
don't
it,
think
Bruno
I've ever
Redondo and
seen
Tom
him.
Taylor.
I don't think I've ever seen him draw Spider-Man.
I don't know if I have either, but I'm just like with the way he drew Nightwing, I'm like I could see it.
Okay.
I can see it too. I mean, it is also colorful and bright in that
Yeah, I
aspect.
guess
Yeah, and he draws a
so.
lot of swinging.
I think it's just hard for me to separate Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo, and I just don't know if I love that pairing anymore. So
Yeah.
I think maybe we should end it off on like one more hot take. Mechanical web shooters or organic web shooters? Go ahead.
Organic.
Mechanical. Oh shit.
Ooh, I also like mechanical. Go ahead and state your
I
case
just-
for organic, Joseph.
For me, the only time it really comes up when it's mechanical web shooters is like as some sort of a gimmick. Like I remember
It's when it doesn't
I
work.
read I've only I've only read a few issues during the Spider Island timeline when he has organic, you know. But I remember like they were still able to do the like, hey, like it's not just infinite webs, or like no, he needs to like, refuel to kind of keep getting the stuff to make the webs. Like he needs to eat starches. Like personally, I just thought that was better in my opinion. I feel like with the mechanical, it always presents this problem of I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess like they're running out, but then it's like sometimes he'll be going for super long stints and you don't really hear anything, and then other times it's like, oh man, like I'm almost out of webs, and it's like it just feels like it only comes up when it needs to be a plot device, like when it needs to be like, well, why can't he go all the way here?
Okay.
But then there's other times where he's doing the same thing and it never comes up.
Play
I
devil advocate for Joseph for a little bit too. I do see the downside of mechanical webs being especially if it's a younger Spider-Man story, it's 15 too. Even okay, I do realize we're talking about Spider-Man here, and it's already fantastical, but a 15-year-old like building his own mechanical web shooters too is like I feel like Peter Parker is smart in my head, but I mean like valedictorian, like as smart as a high schooler can get, which is why like I do think in that aspect in Fast Spider-Man stories, mechanical web shooters are harder for me to look at too, even though I know I'm talking about Spider-Man play on Joseph's side.
okay.
And like I'm not against them as like a concept. Like I like how they are in Ultimate Spider-Man, where it's almost just like passing of the torch. I liked how they did it, where it's like, yeah, like he had web shooters, and then this giant event happened where okay, now he doesn't need them anymore. But like I don't remember why. I don't remember what happened to where it was like, oh, he needs them again. Like I haven't read Spider Island. I haven't done that to myself yet, but
I can see why you would say organic. I think it just makes logical sense a little bit, but I like the mechanical web shooters because opposite of Nate, I like how it showcases his intelligence. Even as a 15-year-old, I imagine Peter Parker as genuinely being extremely gifted, intelligence-wise, but I think he just makes poor life decisions. And I really like that. Like, I like how he could have had this, like, entire potential squandered. Like, even when Doc Ock takes over his body, right? He's like, oh, you could have had this, that, like, with a mind like yours, like, how could you, you know? But I like how it's also Peter's hubris that he just makes poor life decisions sometimes, and it's just, he's where he ended up, you know?
interesting.
I don't know.
I actually, you know what's crazy? I'm gonna switch my answer to organic webbing the more I think about it too.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
More
All right. I didn't know it was a
mostly
competition,
because-
guys. Okay.
mostly because like I still technically think I'm on Rob's side, but I still think he can still have that hubris with organic webbing. I do love the Sam Raimi movies interpretation of it, where it's directly connected to his psyche too, basically. Where
Yeah.
and also
He
the
gets
basis of
ED
why
for his
I'm
wrist.
leaning exactly, but the basis of why I like organic webbing more is I feel like it goes by smoother for me when I think of like, oh, it comes up with his set of powers too. Because for me, it feels weird when it's like, oh, you have spider sense, you can crawl in webs or crawl on walls, and you can like have super strength. You literally just can't shoot webs. And
It
you
makes
make
sense.
that
No,
yourself, too.
I fully agree. I think logically it makes sense that he should be able to shoot webs as like a given power, but I don't know. I just like the implications of the mechanical web shooters more.
I like I think it was it an Amazing Spider-Man where they no. I feel like there was a Spider-Man movie where they made the joke where he's like, oh, like, there's some changes going on. And they're like, oh yeah, puberty. He's like, no, 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 no. I'm like, I feel like kind of with that metaphor of like growing up and having to like
That's
adapt and
that's
change. I feel like having
from
a
isn't that what Miles says in Spider-Man Remastered?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
You're right. I was
yeah.
like, I know it's from a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like having the organic webs almost kind of just goes hand in hand with that for me.
That's fair.
Like
That's
it's like
fair,
that's
man.
just yeah, it's like that's another change that he's trying to figure out. But
Like Tobey
Also,
Maguire pulling the long web from his wrist in that cafeteria scene, which is a peak scene.
yeah, yeah, dude, it
Yeah.
really is.
Also, since Joseph loves talking about X-Men too, it's also makes even more sense to see Spider-Man as a freak, the more powers he has, and also why he would
So
be
true.
confused as a mutant too, and like be part of that
You
people.
know what? That's the other thing I'm gonna say. Let Spider-Man be a mutant. Let it be that
Oh
the
my
spider
god.
unlocks an X
Is
gene.
Oh my
is this a
god.
dead
That's
Is
ass
my
this like
take?
a
hot take.
Miss
Is
Marvel?
this a
Is this like a
true
Miss
take?
Marvel thing?
This is the truth. No, better. Ms. Marvel. That one pissed me off because because we're ready for another 30 minute. No, I'm just kidding. The Miss Marvel thing pissed me off because part of her character was being an Inhuman over a mutant because
Yeah.
she was created, if I remember correctly, around the time
By
of like the
the Terrigen
X-Men versus
Mist.
Inhuman stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a
yeah.
Terrigen Mist. Like, and a big part of the stories going on at that time was people hating mutants but loving the Inhumans. And so she was like part of one group and not the other. And the only real reason they made her a mutant was because in the TV show they said something about her being a mutant. And the way they retconned it was, oh well, she died, but when we brought her back to life, our technicality was she could have been a mutant and she was going to be, but then the Terrigen Mist got her before the X gene activated. So that's why it didn't kill her, but she would have had a mutant power had the Terrigen Mist not gotten to her.
Yeah, just a super quick and easy band-aid solution.
Yeah, like I'm saying, I'm like, I think Spider-Man, because that's been one of those things where it's like, it's not with Miss Marvel. It's like, no, she's inhuman,
Yeah.
and everyone knows that, and that's part of her thing. With Spider-Man,
Because sorry.
how many times are people like, oh, are you a mutant?
Yeah.
I think
He's
in Ultimate
not.
Spider-Man, that's like a whole thing.
It is actually. That is the beginning arc where people are like, "Oh my god, he's a freak, he's a mutant."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I feel like that would fit really well for him, and it would also give him somewhere to go.
Okay.
Because I feel like right now, I mean, I know he's on the Avengers, but like, I don't feel like he always fits there. And I feel
No,
like
I
having
see
him on the
exactly what you
X-Men would
mean.
not only give him somewhere to belong, but I also, dude, I would love to see his reaction to X-Force.
Hmm.
Like, I can already see the falling out that would happen about him finding like, I'll say like uncanny X-Force era team.
All right. Um,
Sorry,
no, like I get it. Like realistically, I think it would make sense if
they
Spider-Man
won't
was
do
a
it.
mutant. No, they obviously won't do it.
They're
I
not
think
going
it's
to do it.
funny. I think it's funny you brought up Ultimate Spider-Man because it's like, yeah, he could totally be a mutant. Like, I don't know what like this class separation is between Spider-Man versus a mutant, but yeah,
Do you
because
know
people
what's funny?
love
You know what they call
Spider-Man.
that
Yeah.
in Marvel?
Well, what's up? Racism?
No, no. So there's mutants. Do you know what the other group is called? Like Spider-Man
Mutated?
whole mutate.
Mutate. That's so funny. It is literally.
Oh no, but that does make sense though because he wasn't born with his powers too. He
Yeah,
was mutated
But I
yeah.
mean, maybe the spider
like a turtle.
irradiation unlocked the X gene. You know, I mean, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
That's
if
all I'm
we're
saying.
going with the Amazing Spider-Man movies too, like maybe his parents like always knew, and
And then maybe his
their
parents died in a
researchers
plane
had to activate
crash.
him. Yeah.
Mhm.
Speaking of live action Spider-Man, brand new day trailer dropped in pieces today. How do you guys feel about it?
Um, I feel like there's not enough for me to make an opinion on it. I'll
Okay.
say is though in terms or like to say too much about it in general. But I will say I am excited. Nevertheless, the one shot we saw inside the lenses was pretty sick. I'm excited to see this new direction because always kind of hated how John Watts directed Spider-Man,
Yeah.
especially with the latter two movies.
I agree. I think from what I saw, really promising, really nice. Did we see Hulk anywhere in that? Because I hope we don't.
I didn't.
Okay.
It's like 3 2-second clips, so
Yeah,
You see
yeah,
Punisher
yeah.
in one, I
There's
think.
not
You
even
you do see Punisher, yeah. I just hope it's not like the leaked script where the Hulk is involved. I think that having the Punisher involved is fine. I think having the Hulk involved, a little bit iffy for me, but from the little snippets we've got, I'm really excited for it. And I hope I'm not just hyping myself up and then I watch it and then I just have the worst time of my life. But yeah. I'm genuinely excited. It looks really good.
Yeah, I only have $5 in Spider-Man Brand New Day stocks, but I would literally bet my life savings on Batman 2 being good. That's all I'll say.
What if it's
At
like
least a
Batman
8 out of
Folie
10.
Deux?
Huh?
What if it's
No,
like Batman Folie Deux, dude?
no, I'm betting literally my my retirement on
Bet 5
Batman 2
Omnis
being
on
good.
it. Bet 5
I
Omnis on
will.
it.
I will.
I get to pick out
happily
5
give
Omnis. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly. I'll happy give
Okay.
you that. If no, it has to be. I don't personally find Batman Part 2 at least a 6 out of 10.
Okay, sure. If you
Or 7 out of
hate
10.
Batman 2, if you genuinely hate the movie, if you're just super disappointed and you hate it, sure.
If I genuinely end up hating the movie, I will give you my whole collection.
Matt Reeves, I need you to make the movie bad on purpose. Joseph,
Nate's
what did
just
you
not
think
gonna see it.
about? No, of course not. What did you think about Brand New Day? Like what we got so far?
I don't feel like I have enough to decide. Like I feel like
Yeah.
No, that's fair, man.
Yeah,
It's just
I
from what I've
need to see
seen,
a
it
full
looks
trailer.
cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. All right, and with that, I think we're gonna end it off here, guys. That's all we're gonna have time for tonight. This has been your host, Robert.
And this has been the Nathan. That's me.
Yeah, hey, this was Joseph. I was here.
That's very true. And we will catch you guys next
What's that
time.
smell?
Well, that's probably Josh.
Gas leak.
Oh, true. Well, we'll deal with it later.
All right.
It'll burn off. It'll burn off.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
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 Say bye, Joseph.
I did. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye, guys.